company is called VRapeutic. Let's bring up VRapeutic. Please rise and welcome them. Short answers. Sure.
Hello, this is Ahmad Al-Kabbany. I am the founder of VRapeutic. We develop virtual reality software for learning disabilities. Around 5% of school-enrolled students suffer from learning disabilities. This sums up to 77 million children worldwide, and numbers are rising. The classical training for these children on essential life skills, such as emotional recognition and selective attention, suffer from significant limitations, such as the high cost, the limited resources, which results in low efficiency in addition to slow to minimal progression. Mona, for example, with 15 years of experience, is an example of thousands of therapists worldwide who are dreaming of a better training approach. The good news is that the research nowadays tells us a lot about the potential of virtual reality in this regard. For example, 75% of the children who are involved in a study on the potential of VR on social cognition have shown an improvement. These are some examples of the modules we develop. VRapeutic develops virtual reality software for therapy with a current focus on learning disabilities. We design specially tailored virtual environments in order to instill diverse life skills in those children, including social, emotional, and cognition skills as well. This is a huge market with more than 300 schools, centers, and private clinics in Egypt alone, in addition to not less than 1/3 of this figure in the United Arab Emirates. Compared to our closest competitor, we distinguish ourselves with several advantages in the core technological know-how, in addition to the language and the localization aspects. We are B2B, offering our services and modules to therapy centers and private clinics, and the revenue model is a monthly subscription of $15 per end user per a bundle of modules. The customer validation has taken place in 9 centers and 7 countries. We generated 15K in beta sales in 4 months, in addition to raising 50K from Flat 6 Labs Cairo. The first stage that we are currently in is the piloting. We are piloting with centers in Cairo and Alexandria, and we have been shortlisted by the UNICEF Innovation Fund in 2018. The next step is the MENA-wide deployment with a target of 30% market penetration, which will take us to a 500K plus in revenue. We have several years of experience in our respective fields, and we are raising 500K mainly for team expansion, marketing, and operations. Thank you.
Wow, that was excellent. A lot of information in a short amount of time. Okay, judges, what questions do we have?
So I'm just curious about what the research you've done is, and what, sort of the proprietary research on this product and these programs.
Okay, so I mentioned research in two slides here in my pitch. The first one was referring to the research body, the huge body of research we have on this aspect, which is virtual reality training for therapy in general. And there was the specific study that I mentioned proved that 75% of the sample have shown an improvement. So this was the first part, the first slide I mentioned research in. The second slide that I mentioned the research in is this. This is our own research. We are validating our own product, which is the piloting stage, and this is what we are doing in collaboration with therapy centers in Alexandria and Cairo in Egypt.
How dependent are you on the device itself versus the content? So I think it's you emphasize the content part of it,
yes,
and you're making engaging simulations. But how dependent is that on that device? And do you have any unique things you're doing to the device to make it more?
Okay, in the beginning, when we started, we have the HTC. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I should mention a specific brand or. Okay, so we have some other VR headsets in mind, very high end. But when we started to talk with the centers in Alexandria, for example, it turned out that it would be very expensive for those centers to provide those headsets. And that's when we started to shift to mobile-based headsets, which are the basic VR headsets in which you can place your mobile, whatever it is, and you can play it right away. But this is a Samsung Gear VR in particular.
Yeah, that's the challenge I've seen. So these centers, they're sometimes not-for-profit, or most of the time not-for-profit. Can they afford your full solution and be able to convey those benefits to the
Okay, the figure that I mentioned as the revenue model, the monthly subscription, was based on many interviews with many therapists in the therapy centers, either those who are collaborating with us now or the potential customers as well. And we found that the cost of the content, in addition to the hardware, is, for the vast majority, is quite affordable. And we have another option for those centers who will not be able to provide the hardware, the equipment, which is not our business. This is not the innovation. We can rent it for them. So there are multiple options.
When will you actually be selling your product on that business model?
Okay, so as I mentioned, we already have beta sales, and the piloting stage will end by 2 months from now. We already have other customers. As I said, the piloting stage involved 4 centers, but now we have 8 centers. So in 2 months since we started our acceleration with Flat 6 Labs Cairo, we have doubled the centers we are dealing with. And currently we are in the process of preparing the content for them to deliver. So we are ready to deliver our services to centers right now. It's just the process that takes 2 to 3 weeks. Okay? Thank you.